Welcome back to more of the World of Magic Ranger Guide / walkthrough. So in the end of the last episode, I basically finished up here in the first area of the game known as Woody Weedy Forest, or Woody Wordy Forest if you are playing in Cirrus. So I would say once you reach level 5, maybe level 6 if you want to be like really sure, then you're pretty much ready to take on the next place of the game, which will be the Mushroom Marshland. So let's go ahead and go south. Now before I keep going all the way down, I do want to quickly talk about the the bosses of this world here in Woody Weedy Forest. And they're actually Bulldozer and Bulldozer's brother. You saw Bulldozer briefly, I believe, in episode 2, I want to say. Anyway, Bulldozer is level 7 and Bulldozer's brother is level 8. They're pretty similar, really. They actually are. The only difference is the one level. They both are really fast. If you see one of these when you're anywhere from level 1 through even level 7, I guess, you could run into some problems, to be honest. But after that, it's actually really easy. It's the easiest boss in the game, or I should say they're the easiest bosses in the game. Anyway, their only notable drops are, well, there's a few that are more notable than others, so it's kind of hard to say which ones are better, but they can drop Bulldozer's Tooth, which can actually be exchanged for a really good sword early in the game called the Canine Tooth of Madness. They can drop Bull Rush Volume 2, Cure Poison Volume 2, Bulldozer Cloak, and the Canine Tooth of Madness itself, although I thought that was not the case, but apparently the wiki says that they can drop a Canine Tooth of Madness. And yeah, that's kind of interesting, you know, but yeah, you know, so I actually don't really know about if that's true, if they do drop the sword itself. I thought they just dropped the actual tooth, but I could be wrong about that. Anyway, these are all the notable drops, and as you can see, some are more valuable than others. Some, such as Cure Poison 2, are almost useless. I mean, although the book is unique and cannot be bought, from what I believe, at least I know. Cure Poison is a skill that's pretty much never used by mages, so it makes it that much more useless, although people like to have it there as a collection just in case, you know, I don't know. Bull Rush 2 is a lot more valuable because that is a very important skill for warriors. Bulldozer's Tooth is valuable, and the Bulldozer Cloak can also be valuable. That gives you essentially 2 armor. So yeah, it's pretty useful. Anyway, that's pretty much it for that. As you can see, they are pretty valuable because they do have some decent drops. Anyway, moving on down to the Mushroom Marshland, the second area of the game. I keep accidentally pressing that, my bad. Oh my god, I need to stop doing that. Okay, so the first enemy in Mushroom Marshland is going to be the Swamp Mushroom. The Swamp Mushroom, as you can see right here, they are level 6, sorry, not level 6, level 5, my bad, level 5 enemies. They have quite a number of drops actually, despite them being the weakest members here in the swamp, the Mushroom Marshland, I should say. They have a pretty good amount of stuff. So first of all, they can drop dried mushroom. That's a notable drop because even though the item itself is rather useless, it does have one purpose early in the game, and that is for the quest. You need 10 dried mushrooms to progress the quest of Colon, which I actually already reached Colon, you know, but doing the 2 other quests by exchanging clovers as well as wild boar meats. So yeah, you want 10 of those, but that's one of them. It also drops old feathers. Old feathers can roughly be exchanged, I think it's 5 of them, for potentially a weapon or armor enchant D scroll, but usually you get recall scrolls. They can be exchanged to Colon, who's in the center of the Mushroom Marshland. 5 old feathers for 1 scroll at random. Usually it's a recall scroll, like I said. So, if you get old feathers, what you can do is, if you want, you could gamble. You could basically keep them in exchange for try to get something else. Or you could just sell them in sets of 5. Personally, it's not really like one is better than the other, one choice, because you could gamble and get a lot of money early in the game. If you get a scroll, a D scroll early in this game, that's going to set you up for a lot of different things that you can buy. Because I believe its value is like a couple thousand at least, that you can sell to a secret merchant. I mean, honestly, with D-Scrolls, there isn't too much value in the Black Trader because you can actually buy the D-Scrolls from NPCs, but you cannot buy C, B, A, or S scrolls from NPCs. So those are a lot more valuable. Anyway, continuing with the drops. Another notable drop that it has is Flame Shock Volume 3. Flame Shock 3 can actually be bought from an NPC, but if you do actually get it if you're a mage, that saves you a lot of money, roughly about 2,000 gil, which is pretty convenient if you get lucky enough to drop, you know? If you're not a mage and get it to drop, that's also good money in itself though, because you can actually sell it and make some money off of that. So either way, it is a good drop to get. The next thing is the, what's it called? The blunt short sword. The blunt short sword is even better than a practice sword, and even if you're not a warrior, if you actually get this, blunt short swords are worth 1500 gold to NPCs, which is a lot of money early in the game. So I would recommend, you know, getting one of those if you can and get lucky and sell it to a secret merchant. The next item is the wooden shield, once again only for warriors, but if you get it you can actually sell it for some decent cash. It's pretty good, pretty decent. And then the other drop that's not notable is the mushroom spore. They're essentially useless items. I mean, you can just get them in sets and sell them to a secret merchant, make some money off of it, you know, might as well. And yeah, but that's basically the swamp mushroom. There isn't really too much to them, to be honest. At least for a ranger there isn't. Again, a lot of valuable drops if you actually get lucky, but a lot of rare drops too. They're pretty rare. So even though they do have a lot of potential, I wouldn't recommend grinding off these guys because it's just too luck based. It's too luck based, you know? Although again, for any class, you know, regardless of your class, it is important to be doing this for getting the dried mushrooms. Because you need 10. Now, as you can see, the enemies start to do a little bit more damage here. Because I'm starting to get swarmed a little bit. Oh man, gotta be careful here. So I actually need to take a look at how many dried mushrooms I have, because I don't really know. I got a lot right there at the end. So I need to take a look at how many I have now. Okay, so nothing there. Let's take a look. I have 4. Not even halfway there. It's kind of tedious to be doing this, you know? But, oh well, you know? Oh well. Now here's the thing though, if I level up, I might actually not go for the mushroom, like the mushrooms right now. I might just go and fight the next enemy of this area, which would be the flower elementals. And I'll talk about those in just a little bit once I actually find one. Okay, the game's starting to lag a little bit on me. That's going to be one inconvenient thing about this game for me. There's going to be some times where the game just lags a lot and there's not really much you can do about it. Sometimes it is on your end for the internet, sometimes it's just not. It just depends. Sometimes the server's just that bad, to be honest, and there's not that much you can do about it. There really isn't. Okay. So one thing I haven't mentioned is the potion bags. Generally speaking, I don't open the potion bags because they're actually worth 250 each. So in a way, it makes more sense to sell them for 250 each because it's consistent money as opposed to getting a little lucky or unlucky depending on what you actually get. Because sometimes you can get things that are more valuable than, you know, 250. Sometimes, actually more often than not, things that are less valuable. It's just luck based, you know? I already have 7, by the way. I have 7 of these freaking mushrooms. That's pretty good. Makes me almost want to stay here then and just keep fighting more of these. I already have 8 now, so only 2 more. You know what, I'm staying here. I just leveled up again, so I'm a little safer as well. So it shouldn't be all that bad. Now, as you can see, in terms of experience, okay, one thing I should be doing, what the hell, man, is this. In terms of experience, they're pretty much giving me nothing anymore. As you can look at the, oh, there's another one. Yeah, like, look at the, experience. It's going up incredibly slowly. Also, one thing I should mention with potion bags, or like treasure chests in general, they don't actually stack. That is the one bad thing about them. So if you get multiple ones, they're gonna take multiple slots. Okay, I already got 10 as you can see, so I'm good to go. Let's move on. I'm gonna go ahead and move down south now. So the next enemy of the game, or this area I should say, are flower elementals, these right here. Flower elementals are actually not hostile enemies, they will only attack you if you attack them first, but they are level 6 enemies, so 1 level tougher than the swamp mushrooms. As far as notable drops go, the first thing is going to be the Mystic Seed. Mystic Seeds are not going to be too valuable for you at the moment because you're not going to be needing them for a long time to actually go up into the 4th floor of the Lighthouse Dungeon. But I will say this though, if you get Mystic Seeds, generally what you want to do is put them in the Black Trader. If you don't have the premium, the Ticket Trader sting yet by getting the premium starters pack at the moment, I would recommend keeping them in your inventory for now and selling them later. But later in the game you are actually going to want them because, again, you want to go up there in the 4th and 5th floor potentially to get some decent drops, I would say, you know? Maybe. Like, decent mini-bosses, better enemies. You'll see. But yeah, that's the Mystic Seed. It is valuable, but again, just in different ways depending on what stage of the game you're actually at. The next one is Double Shot 3. Double Shot 3 is a book that can be bought from the same NPC that I bought Double Shot 2 back in the village, in Woody Weedy Village, or Woody Woody Village if you are in Cirrus. So even though it can be bought, you might be thinking, wait, so why is it here notable? Because the book is valued at about 1,800 in terms of gold. That's a lot of money, as you can see. I have 503. With all this, I'm going to be a little over 1,500 maybe. So I'm basically going to burn all my money if I end up buying it. Which most people, of course, end up buying it. But if you can actually get lucky enough to get a drop, you essentially save 1,800 gold, which is pretty good in my opinion. The next one is the Wooden Staff. The Wooden Staff is a weapon that is only for mages, so it's, you know, pretty pointless for rangers and warriors, but, you know, it is worth a pretty decent money if you actually get it, so I would recommend selling it to the secret merchant. The next one is the Blunt Short Sword, just like the Swamp Mushroom. Again, the Blunt Short Sword has some pretty good value in it, even if you're not a warrior, so I would recommend selling it once again to the secret merchant. And finally there's Green Powder. Now Green Powder, it's an item that's worth a little bit only because of what it can potentially be, but for the most part it's really not. I mean, because you can buy from NPCs. You are actually going to need some green powder for the Lighthouse quest, which is basically the quest that I've been doing with the Innkeeper and eventually Cullen. So I mean, I guess if you get some you could keep it, but at the same time, because it can be bought from an NPC, it's not too valuable. So, you know, just letting you know. And then finally has one more drop, but it's not on screen because it's not a notable drop. It's actually a seed. There's a key difference between a Mystic Seed and a seed, just to let you know. Seeds are essentially pointless. I mean, not really. You have to give some to Pit Pat Cooey for the Cooey certification for a quest, but again, to newbies it's not really anything important because you can't even do it for the most part, because there's so many other things that you have to do in order to potentially get that item. But you know, it's there. It's there. So that's basically the Flower Elemental. As you can see, it's a pretty valuable enemy for rangers, mainly because of Double Shot 3. Sorry, not 2, 3. So again, if you can get lucky and try to get one from killing these enemies, then you're in the clear. You're gonna save almost 2,000 gold, which by this point in the game, it's actually really amazing. But aside from that, it does also have, you know, Blunt Short Swords, Wooden Staffs, Mystic Seeds, Green Powder, things that are pretty good value. They really are. All in all, it's not a bad enemy to grind off of very early in the game. One thing I didn't mention though is that these enemies are actually ranged attackers, as you can see. Being ranged, they can pose to be a little bit more of a problem for rangers. Because again, the main point of a ranger is to keep distance so you don't actually get attacked by enemies, but Flower Elementals being ranged, they can actually get you. I'm just hoping I get at least one decent drop, you know, that's worth some money. Even if I don't get Double Shot 3, just something that's worth a little bit of money. That'd be nice. Now as you can see, the experience is, like I keep saying, it's going up fairly slowly, but not too slowly. It just kind of depends, you know, if you fight enemies who are lower level than you, basically the blue named, they're going to give you less. Green enemies barely give you any. Black named enemies, oh, there's a wooden staff. Nice. I got a good drop. Black enemies give you, it's like normal, it's your level. And then there's orange enemies who are higher than you, and then finally like dark red, and then bright red. In that order. Usually you want to fight orange enemies because those are like the best ratio of like you being able to hit it and getting experience. So I would recommend doing that, but because I'm kind of grinding a little bit here, I want to try and potentially get something good. Although I'm not getting too much luck except the one wooden staff, man. I'm not going to complain about that, obviously. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I think now, once I kill just like these few more flower elementals, I think what I'll actually do is just go ahead and head to the next enemy of the game. But that's probably gonna be for next time, of course, since I'm basically out of time. Let's take a look. This will be the last one I actually fight in this episode. There's green powder over there, by the way. Another seed. An old feather, that's interesting. And green powder. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do, though, is actually recall back and sell a bunch of stuff in the beginning of the next episode. Because I have a lot of stuff here that's decent in value, you know? So yeah. If you enjoyed this episode in any way, please be sure to like. I'd appreciate it very much. Thank you. And as always, I will see you all next time. Bye-bye, everyone. Have a great and fantastic day.